just speaking for the ones that contacted me on this particular dating site. I'm telling you, it was a total psycho magnet, and I don't know what, like, did I put something on there first? When I first, that's what it was. When I first did, when I first filled out my profile on this damn dating website, I put on there that I did all kinds of drugs. It asks, like, you go through this thing and it says, do you do heroin, yes or no? Do you use drugs intravenously, yes or no? Do you do this, yes or no? Do you do horse tranquilizers, yes or no? Do you freebase this or that, yes or no? It wasn't quite that, okay, but it asked about all these different, like, drugs, and yes or no. I just hit no in all of them, but it didn't hit no in all of them. My fat fingers, that my poor phone, anyway. My vent is going to definitely be about this phone. Anyway, the Maserati's rocking tonight, okay, but it has seen its better day. We do have a new phone. So I accidentally put on this dating website that I did every drug known to man. Now that's totally not the case. I do not even take a prescription pill. And guess what? I started to drink some rum tonight. I had a little sip and then I thought, nah. I dumped the rest of it out. So I might have to get my nephew a little more rum. Alright, so yeah, I accidentally put that on there, and then one girl she like sends me one of those messages, and she was like, you seem like a really nice guy and everything like that, but what about the drugs? And I was like, I thought that's why you were contacting me, baby. If you ain't got no dope, I don't want to be with you. It freaked her out. Not really, I didn't tell her that. I was like, what? Holy crap. So I went back, and all these super freaky women that had been contacting me then, I knew why. They thought I was the hookup or something, I guess. But no, I went immediately back. That was like day one. I was on there for 4 days, maybe 5, before it totally freaked me out. And like I said, I just shut that shit down. I said, these creepy women are going to end up abducting me. I'm going to end up in another state, tied up, bound and gagged. And that's keeping in mind that I am heavily armed, usually normally. So, if heavily, I mean, hey, I'm always going to have the opportunity to defend myself. Isn't that our right? Isn't that the Second Amendment? And I stand behind that. So my vent of the day is going to be about phones. We're going to talk a little bit about craftsmanship, okay? Like now versus then. Whenever you would buy something 20 years ago, let's just say a desk, a table. Well, guess what? 30 or 40 years ago, you'd probably just get the plans to it. You would buy the blueprint on how to build it, and you would build it yourself. In the 1950s and 1960s, like a man and his son would have basically a whole woodworking shop or a whole metalworking shop in their garage. And that's not happening nowadays. They don't even have the metal shop programs. They don't even have the wood shop programs in our schools and our educational system, because the skilled craftsman is basically falling by the wayside. Technology's taken over. And we'll talk a little bit about phones, because when these like bigger phones with a larger screen started to come out around, I'm going to say like 2006, 2007, they weren't quite smartphones then, but they did a lot of things. That's about the time maybe the BlackBerry came out. So the company that I worked for, we got a brand new AT&T phone. We worked inside machine tools. So we were constantly testing the limitations of all of our electronic devices. Being around, it's a horrendous atmosphere. And to anyone that works in a machine shop or works on machine tools, mad respect. And make sure that they got those smog hogs on all your machines, because those vapors in the air, man, the tools that are actually cutting those parts and those fumes that you see going up into the air, that's not some good stuff. That's your coolant, and that's the metal and everything else reacting with one another. and those chemicals are toxic and they're going to kill you. So make sure that you have a recovery system on your machine and in the building that you're working in, guys. Life's too fucking short, man. Walk out of that crap. Go do what you love to do every day. You have a special talent, and guess what? You should be using it every day to the best of your ability. And that might or might not mean just hitting cycle start every hour or so. That's just my little vent there. But talking about phones, we are constantly testing the ability of these phones. And I can tell you that they've actually, the durability and everything from 10 years ago in cell phone technology and now, like let's say I've got the Motorola Android whatever Maserati. The Motorola Android Maserati, I definitely, when I first get it, I put it in a case. I put a screen protector on it. It's never, a human hand's never touched the screen. And I do that because I use it a lot for the Robcast, stuff like that, business, motorcycle stuff, all that. So I don't want it to go down. I don't want it to mess up. That being said, it has gotten a lot, the memory's gotten full, and I've had to get another one. And that one came in today, and guess what? It lasted about, it's called a phablet. It's this new kind of phone that's a phone and a tablet together, which is going to be awesome for like audio nuggets. And again, we're testing out some new microphones. This is microphone 3 and 4 we're going to check out tonight. And we'll see how the quality of the sound comes through on those. But I think the best ones, they're in the mail right now. So we'll be broadcasting live through the brand new, the best ones that money can afford that we have on the next show. But yeah, so the Motorola Android, the Motorola Android, the Maserati, Marshmallow, whatever you want to call it, okay? It has a couple of different nicknames, but it's the point is that it's been dropped downstairs, hit on the concrete, and it does not have a cracked screen. It's held up great. And when these phones first came out 10 years ago, you would just like have it in your pocket and move your leg, like sit down and your pants be tight, or accidentally have your pocket knife in there with it, and boom, the screen's gonna break every time. So while that quality have all improved, let's say, just like I was saying, if you wanted to buy a table 15 or 20 years ago, 50 years ago, you would buy the blueprint for it and you would just build the table. Now, 20 years ago, you would go to a furniture store and you would buy a wooden table. Well, nowadays, and I'm saying like a small table, let's say a small bookshelf. You need a bookshelf, your son needs a bookshelf for his room. 50 years ago, you built the bookshelf for your son. 20 years ago, you go to the Montgomery Wards, or you go to you go see Jim McIngvale, and you get you a solid wood bookshelf. Well, nowadays, the bookshelf that you get is in a little box, and it has these little pegs, and it's made out of particle board, and it's going to last, I don't know, a year, maybe, until, it starts falling apart. The bookshelf that you built in your own shop 50 years ago is still sitting somewhere being utilized today. And I could say also the bookshelf that someone bought 20 years ago at Gallery Furniture that was made out of solid wood is probably sitting somewhere being used today. But the bookshelf that you bought at the Target for overpriced, that was made in China, that's made out of particle board, it's going to last you a couple months before you set something too heavy on it, or you bump into it the wrong way and it's going to break. And so it kind of just disappoints me a little bit that we kind of live in a disposable world. Because yes, I did get a brand new phone for the Robcast today, and I'm sad to say I was excited, to get it in there and all that. Not to mention, there happens to be a young lady that I'm kind of interested in, just started texting, trying to talk to, and that's whenever the old Maserati decides to start cracking out and starts to not want to answer calls and starts to want to send other text messages that whenever I'm trying to tell someone else, just no, don't call me, they're, my phone, I don't know, I have fat fingers too, so I sent the wrong message. Anyway, it was a fiasco, but hey, we survived through it, and like I said, she did ask me to go meet her somewhere tonight, and man, too bad, so sad. We'll have to make that happen another day if the stars are lining up in the zombies' way. So check it out, Big Brother Over the Top, guys, is coming up on Wednesday. It's a disposable world we live in, man. I honestly believe that our economy needs to shift gears by bringing some manufacturing back over here into the United States, guys. Come on, what do you think about it? As a matter of fact, I thought about, before a little disaster that happened in my life about 3 months ago that we're still recovering from, but good to say, that's almost done, rocking and rolling too, so. I was driving by a new subdivision talking about a disposable world. A new subdivision that was maybe like 10 years old outside of Angleton. And I noticed that the fence, all of the 10-year-old fence looks like it's falling apart. There's planks falling off of it everywhere. And then I see that there's a brand new fence. So your house is only 10 years old and you have a wooden fence around it. And guess what? It's time to go ahead and replace the fence. But what struck me as odd is, well, what I didn't like and what just irks me, it just gets on my nerves. There's this beautiful brand new fence, right? And it makes all the rest of the fence around it look bad, for one. But two, a brand new fence, whenever I look at it's got a big double gate to where you can open it for the driveway. And both of the gates were totally crooked. So, they hadn't been on there for more than a month maybe. And now both of the gates look like they're going to fall off the fence. And that's the craftsmanship. I was putting some decking down, and I had the anchor screws to anchor this decking down, and I started using a big drill gun and putting these screws in, and they started to break. Like, whenever they get to the very end of their torque, they all started snapping off. So I had to take them back and get new screws. And so, I was excited to get this new phone and to check it out and to actually be able to send the message that I would like to send or receive a call. And it was out of the box for 2 seconds before I noticed that there's a big crack in the screen. So there we have it. That one's going back, so we will be rocking and rolling with a new phone. It'll be 4 or 5 more days from now, because it's got to go back to the post office tomorrow. 1 second, guys. Let me just check one thing. What? So while you're here at Spreaker Studios, check out the Joe Rogan Experience. If you like Tommy Chong, check out Cannabis Radio. My other favorites there would be Hollywood Babylon with Ralph Garman. That's another good podcast. And guys, just giving you a little bit of food for thought if you're trying to get your mixed martial arts training in. If you're trying to get your jog done, get your workout, or if you're just on your drive home, man, look, that guy that just cut you off, give him a break. Woosah. Be the bigger person. And if you do have your parents around right now, is the time to tell them you love them. Tell them that you appreciate them bringing your monkey ass into this world, right? And if you don't have them around, man, they're looking down on you and they're proud of you right now. Okay, just checking this mic, guys. I don't know, I'm going to do the whole show and the whole time. And that's probably about par for the course, because I did start the show the other day, and guess what? All 3 mics just jived, just boom! They just blinked out all at the same time.